Okay, so I've just got this sample text open here and we just want to talk a wee bit about paragraphs. Now before we start talking, the Microsoft Word needs some way of being able to tell the printer or the computer screen that there's a bit of space in here or that there's a space in between these two words. So what it uses is a thing called non-printing or non-formatting marks. So this small, if you see I'm on the home tab here, and roughly halfway through it we have this small symbol. It's the show hide symbol. Looks similar to a music note, you can see it here. If I click on it, what that does is it shows me the formatting marks that are underneath in the background. So it shows me the things that don't print out. So I've all the different things. So space doesn't print out, so it puts in a wee dot. At the end of a paragraph, I would have pressed the return key there, or the computer would have pressed the return key, so it puts in this small mark here. Now the reason we need to know this is from time to time, you may find that maybe you're printing out a document and it's printing out on 2 pages, and you can't understand why it's printing out on 2 pages. This will allow you to see what's keeping it on the second page. The reason it's printing out with 2 pages is there's obviously something there that's keeping it on the second page. So it's the non-printing and formatting marks. So I'm going to turn it off for a second, and as we need it, we'll talk back about it again. So the first thing we want to do is we want to talk about joining paragraphs or creating paragraphs. So I have 2 paragraphs here. I'm just going to highlight the 2 of them. I'm going to put them in 2 different colors just so I can talk about the different ones. So I have 2 paragraphs here. One's in green and the other's in pink. If I wanted to join them paragraphs, what I want to do is I want to remove this white space that's there. So I want to remove the space between the pink and the green paragraph in order to make them one. And if I turn on my show and hide now, you can see that what I in actual fact want to do is I want to delete this small paragraph mark. So that paragraph mark goes in between each paragraph. So if I delete it, you can see it brings me back up, and now the green and the pink are now one paragraph. So I'm going to press the undo just to show you that again. I'm going to turn this show and hide off. So you can see when the show and hide is off, you can't actually see it. So that's the reason for turning it on and off, just so you can see it. So we select it and we can press the delete key. Now by all means, if you're able to do that without turning on the show and hide, well and good, but from time to time you may need to just turn it on. Okay. So I'm just going to put that back. I'm going to take the formatting of it for a second, or take the colors of it. The next thing we want to do is we want to talk about creating paragraphs. So if you want to create a paragraph, it's the opposite to merging. This time we want to increase the space or add space between. So if you see this bottom paragraph that you can see there, so it's one paragraph with 3 lines in it. What I want to do is I want to create a new paragraph starting here at the if. Notice I'm clicking to the left hand side of the I and not to the right hand side of the space. I don't want to include the space, so I just click there, and I'll actually zoom in so you can see it. So I'm just clicking here at the start of it, and what I want to do then is press the return key on the keyboard. So once I press the return key on the keyboard, you can see now I've 1 paragraph and 2 paragraphs. So that's creating paragraphs and merging paragraphs. So there's 2 separate things. The next thing we want to talk about is inserting a line break or a soft line break. So a soft line break is where we want to go on to the next line, but we want to keep in the same paragraph. So say for example here, I'm up here just right of the word galleries. If I want to go on to the next line, I would usually press the return key, but what that'll do is it will start a new paragraph. You can see I'm into a new paragraph. But if I want to go on to the next line but remain in this same paragraph, I can hold down Shift and press the return key. Now I am down 1 line, but I'm still in the same paragraph, and I can see to prove it, if I click 3 times in it, it selects the word, whereas if I do it the opposite way, I'm going to press the enter key, and now I'm going to type just the word start just to show you. If I click 3 times in it, you can see it doesn't include the word start in it, so it's not included in the same paragraph. So a soft line break is Shift and Enter. I'll show you again. I'm going to do it pressing Shift and Enter, and then if I turn on my show and hide, you can see that this is the symbol for a soft line break, whereas this is the symbol for a paragraph. Okay, so that's the way it works. The next thing we want to do is we want to have a look at aligning text. So I'm just going to select everything and I'm going to go equals rand and I'm going to put in the paragraphs. I'm going to turn off that show and hide so you can't see it. Now at the minute my paragraphs are aligned to the left hand side, so you can see it has a straight left margin and it has a ragged right margin. We want to look at the different options for aligning text. So the main options we're going to deal with is here in the paragraph section of the home tab. You can see this is left align, center align, right align and justify. And we're going to do each paragraph. So left align is the first one. You can see it's got a straight left margin and a ragged right margin. Center align is the next one. It puts a line roughly down the center and it goes the same distance each side of that line. So it centers your text. If you only had one word, I'm just going to put a single word in. I'll put it to the left hand side. I'm just going to put a heading. If we center the heading, you can see it just puts the word in the middle of the screen or the page. The next text we have then, or the next alignment we have, is the right align button. So if we click on the align right button, you can see it has a straight right margin where possible, straight right margin and a ragged left margin, so it's aligned to the right hand side. And the other option we have then is justify. So what justify does is it gives you a straight left margin and a straight right margin. You can see it's like in magazine or a newspaper would use justified, so it's straight left and right. So they're the 4 different options for aligning text: left, center, right.